Hey, welcome back everybody. You're tuning in to howtoplaystock.com. My name's Kepley. Hope you guys are having a good day. And in today's video, I wanted to cover a topic, and I was reading a book on this. It's called The One Thing, okay? And it focuses on just basically taking all the distractions that are around you on a day-to-day basis and getting rid of those so that you can focus on just one thing. Now, what does this have to do with investing? Well, that's quite a bit to do with investing, and I'll show you here in the next part of this video. So keep watching, and when you're investing, remember this, okay? You're going to run into a lot of people who are going to tell you, hey, I got this investment idea, I got that investment idea, and you can get very easily distracted with that. So I'm going to show you in this next segment, so keep watching, and I'm going to show you how that ties into the one thing. Okay, so we're back here. Just got done reading this book not too long ago called The One Thing. It's by Gary Keller. If you haven't read it, I would strongly recommend checking it out. But this has a lot to do with investing and your plan that you get together, for yourself when you are investing. And really, it just comes down to, what works for you. What is your passion? What is it that you love doing on a day-to-day basis? Because I can tell you right now, whatever it is, there's a market for it, there's an industry for it, and guess what? There's stocks that you can invest in too that revolve around your circle of interest. Okay, and that's what we're covering today, is your circle of interest. Now, I've covered this in a previous video back when I first started my channel. I'll leave a link in the description for that if you want to check it out. But basically, I'm just going to recap in a shorter video, what that entails and how you can focus on your circle of interest, okay? So, getting started, basically, what you want to do is just make a list. Make a list of stuff that, really get you motivated, get you inspired, things that you love doing on a day-to-day basis, things that you might already be good at. Maybe you have a business or something that revolves around the industry that you're already interested in. So make a list of those, okay? And this really, what it comes down to is this one thing can be applied to the three tips that I gave you on getting your plan together and getting started in investing. I'll leave a description in the video here or a link in the description below here for that, so you can check that out. It's called basically it's the three tips to getting an investment strategy together and something that's proven to work for you. But this one thing revolves around all of that, okay? And so if we go back to what I was saying in a previous video, you wanted to get insurance, right? And this is what I'm doing right now as we speak. And it really helps make you focus on just a couple things, okay? And you can take each one and focus in on each one of them one at a time, all right? And it gets rid of all the distractions that might be out there that are pulling you in all these different directions. That's why I don't like day trading, to be honest with you. I'll do a little bit here and there, but if I do, it's only on things that I can focus on one at a time. All right, and this reduces your risk when it comes to investing, so that you're not losing your money. All right, because that's one thing that I learned when I first started investing, and I learned it pretty quick, is that you can go invest in this, you can invest in that. There's so many different options out there. Before you know it, you have 5 or 6 different investments going. You may have like 10 or 15 grand tied up in all these different investments, and you can't keep track of them, okay? Because you're basically letting your emotions and your instant gratification take over, and you can't keep track of it. And if you start losing money, you start panicking, like most people do. What do you end up doing? You end up selling, and then you take a loss. And that is the #1 for sure, 100% guaranteed way to lose money. is if you just panic and then you sell. But a lot of that panic and a lot of those emotions that overcome your strategies and your plan, they come from, being distracted and tied into too many investments at one time. So try not to do that. Like I was saying, my circle of interests, basically it comes down to this for me. My circle of interests are more long term. It takes more time to build the passive income and the wealth for me. And I like to be diversified enough to where if one of my investments starts going down in value, it's counterbalanced, and I make up those losses by one of the other investments that I'm tied into. So for me, my circle of interests are trying not to lose my money. That really interests me. I don't know about you guys, but I don't like losing money. And I'm sure you don't either if you're watching this. So for me, my circle of interests being that I don't like losing money, I decided to focus in on silver. Okay? And for those of you who are already subscribed to me, you know better than anybody else watching this what I keep emphasizing, and I don't know how much more I can emphasize it, but you need insurance, you need something to protect your wealth when you start losing money. So that's my number one priority, is not to lose the money, and from there I can kind of branch out into other things, such as my long-term investments. So for my long-term investments, what interests me, again, it might be different than what interests you. Okay, but if you're looking at investing in just one company right now and you don't have any of this other stuff set up, you need to focus in on that first. So take one thing at a time. Start educating yourself about silver, gold. Maybe, I would probably stay away from volatility, just because I've lost a lot of money in volatility. I've made some money pretty quick doing volatility trading, but that is very, very high risk. So I'm trying to take the approach of keeping your risk low, okay, and giving you one thing at a time to focus on and just going down the list. So get your insurance, get your long-term investments going. Your long-term investments, again, it's not going to be tied into just one company. These are indexed stocks that you can invest in across the board. And really there's no one particular point of interest per se when you're looking at indexed stocks, because they make up the entire broad market. But what you can do is get into indexed funds that revolve around a certain industry. Okay? So like, let's say for instance you already have a business that you've started and it revolves around the technology field. There's an indexed stock that revolves around just the technology field. So you can do something like that, as far as focusing in on one thing. And that would diversify you enough across a broad market of stocks that are in the technology sector. That way if one of them goes under, or starts having problems, more than likely, because it's an index fund, it's kind of like a mutual fund, that stock will be taken out and replaced with something else that's doing much better. Okay? Again, it reduces your risk. And then the third, like I was saying, gotta have a plan, guys. You have to have a plan. If you don't have the plan, you're going to lose all your money. And if you're distracted and you're not focused in on, attacking one of these, or this list of items for your plan, if you're not focused in on attacking each one of those one at a time, chances are you're going to do what I did, make the same mistake I did when I first started investing, and that's you're going to start investing in all different stuff for instant gratification, and then you end up losing all your money. Okay, now for me, luckily, I knew enough about exit strategies and having an exit strategy plan set and put together for what I was doing that I was able to pull out and keep most of my money, so I didn't lose it all. And because I had money, I still had money, I could still play the game. Alright? But I'm trying to keep you from even having to experience that. So, you know, for your long term, I would highly recommend doing what I just told you. You know, looking in at index funds across an energy sector or some type of sector of business that's of interest to you. Or you can just basically get into something like the S&P 500, which includes, you know, all industry sectors. But after you get that done, then you focus in on your passive income, where you can get into individual companies, or if you still want to, and reduce your risk and keep it very, very low, you can get your passive income set up on these index funds as well. Okay, but the passive income, the reason why I wanted to touch on the one thing is because it's very important when you start attacking your passive income to really focus in, just focus in on that one thing. Okay, so basically what I'm doing here, and I'll just share a story with you real quick, something I experienced, all right, with investing. When I first started, you know, like I told you, I had investments across the board in several different things, and it was hard for me to keep track of what was going on. Okay, so I ended up losing money in the process. But I learned really quickly, after I lost that money, that there's a better way to do it. Okay, so I got my insurance. I really started doing some research on protecting my wealth. That way when the markets go down, I'm not losing as much as, say, someone who's tied up in just a 401k plan. And if the markets went down, I can make up those losses from my insurance. Okay? Again, markets, as we know, always go up and down. So that's why I say you want to get insurance first. And then after, you know, I got that set up and got my insurance going, the next thing I did is I set up the long-term approach, you know, and I got into an individual retirement account, got my 401k set up, but I diversified enough across broad markets in several different industry sectors, actually all of them that are out there, real estate, financial, technology, doesn't matter. I got into a broad enough set of stocks through indexes and allocated those specifically to a certain amount of money going into them, that it's basically an all-seasons fund. Okay? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just subscribe to the channel. Check out my playlist, because I go over the all-seasons fund portfolio and I break it down for you so you know exactly what I'm talking about here. But check that out. Basically what that did is it allowed me to use asymmetrical risk-reward and lower my risk, okay, while, you know, keeping my returns at a decent amount. Okay, they weren't great, wasn't something that's going to get me rich overnight, and that's one thing I have to hit home here with, is that so many people think that investing is a get-rich-quick scheme. Okay, it's not. If you want to get rich quick, good luck to you, because it doesn't exist. You know, the movies you watch on Wall Street, Wolves of Wall Street, you know, movies like that, it's Hollywood, guys. It's Hollywood. The only way you're ever going to make money, you know, without being on Wall Street and being a professional day trader and knowing that, you know, the inside trading deals are going on, the only way you're going to be able to ever make money from these markets is educating yourself and being patient, and set yourself up for an asymmetrical risk-reward type plan that's going to lower your risk so you don't lose money, because it's not really about how much money you make, it's how you make it. It's how you make that money. Are you making it long term, and when the markets go down, are you only losing 5% versus 40%? Because you're going to be able to rebound much quicker, and you're going to be able to maintain your wealth for longer periods of time. That's really what investing is about. And I'll tell you what, if you're investing right, it's actually pretty fucking boring. I mean, it really is. And that's when you know you're investing and doing things the proper way, because it takes time. You have to wait. So that's really what today's video is about. is just your circle of interest and focusing on that one thing. Okay? My name is Kepley. You're tuning in to howtoplaystock.com. These are today's investors' investing tips. Remember, guys, be patient. Income's the outcome. I'll talk to you later.